I've titled this one Silent Creation. And it's what we could do in the silence using structure. Because with structure, tension is created. And tension is either flowing or resisting. And it's everything we experience, manifest, create comes from tension. Morning, Craig.
Good morning, gentlemen.
Morning, Craig.
Good morning, Craig.
So in creating, creation, and structure, so a creative structure, is the difference between now, the present, where we are as one spot, one position, one structure, and what we want, where we're going, what we want to see created. I also call this intention. What is the intention? Now, one aspect is identifying. We name them, we label them. That's for the ego, the thinking mind, to orient. And as we know from the ego, the thinking mind, emotions, the feelings are connected. Now, automatically we've connected them, and usually not appropriately. So the true tension comes between the feelings, the emotions. And when the feeling of where you are and what you want is aligned, you can move towards it. Said another way, you can have it. You can be it and manifest it. That society hasn't structured our thinking, our creation that way. And that has us out of alignment, has us resisting. That tension rather than flowing is resisting. Either we think we can't have it, and to me, that's the importance of the silence. Is to bring up what's in the way. Is there alignment or not? If there's one thing you could have today, could you have that for the rest of your life? Just notice what happens as you think about that in the silence. If you could have what you wanted today, couldn't you have that for the rest of your life? If you can't have it today, if you can't find it, if you can't be it, it's not a true choice. It's a worldly structure, it's a worldly desire, usually a material desire. And that is a broken structure because it's unresolvable. Meaning you go for it, you get it, it doesn't produce what you think, so you go for more. Doesn't produce the outcome, the feeling you want, so you go for more. That's a unresolvable structure that we've created. It's a starting and stopping. It doesn't contain momentum. And that's how most of us have lived our lives. So today, my true choice is to be happily married, to be a trusted spouse, to be an engaged spouse, to be present in my family, with my family. And so now I imagine all the ways that that could show up today. How I would look for it just today. How happily married would reveal itself, that I might find it, point to it, and say, ah, there's a piece. I'll take another one of those.
How would that feel, Jesse?
So now I identify it, and now we add the emotion. By asking that question brings the emotions, the feelings, the energy to it. So I'd feel connected, intimate, loved, loving. And I can notice, so as I do it, I can see, oh, I'm waiting. They give it to me, so I can see part of my structure, right? I see some resistance as I go into it. So how it feels is I stand there and I just give a tight hug that I don't want to ever let go of. And it is reciprocated. I'm held.
So how would your body let you know that you're getting there?
Honored, cherished, high regard, grateful, open communications, transparency, friendship, joyful, anticipating, desiring companionship. So Craig, to answer that question, was in that sigh and that big release. Best word I have for it is alignment. It broke through something aligned to the current reality, the current moment. Let go of things that were in the way of that. And it's like it settles from that future memory into the peace of the current moment, current silence that I keep filling with my words.
So how does your body feel that? That release you were talking about?
Well, this time it was with a big sigh, big deep breath out, a settling, a relaxing into it, a peace, a calmness. It shows up differently in different times.
Hmm. So
And I
maybe
can
that's part of the
ask,
secret for you then. To kind of feel it throughout your whole body.
well, to what we look for is the release, the peace, the calmness, the settledness. Really, we can ask, is there any more resistance? Anything keeping me from having that today? And asking that question, listening to the silence, will reveal yes or no. And I don't know. Will I face resistance today creating that? Yes. Will my body feel it? Yes. Will I do whatever it takes to move through it? Yes. Will it go as I think? No.
So in other words, you're going to pay attention with general awareness.
Of that intention.
Yes.
That is creation, yes. That is creating what we want and then experiencing what that feels like because, oh, there it is. There's a piece of it. There's a taste of it. There it is. And we just continue to look for those places, that taste, that what we want. It's like, oh, it is here. Look, it grows. There's more of it. There's more of it. There's more of it. Ooh, what's that? That one, that was not in that direction. What's that? That's different than just sitting back, letting it, waiting for it. Which is an unresolvable structure as well. That just gets us frustrated. And frustrated is resistance. It's not momentum. It's a restrictive. It's like saying no to what you want.
Yeah, for me, that's the difference between waiting for a signal in the environment or realizing that my body will send me some kind of internal signal that only I will understand.
Of course.
That's a whole different orientation.
The structure is still the same, but the experience will be different for everyone. And every time we do it, it's different. Today was just awareness for me. Happily married awareness. I released it. It doesn't matter what it released. And sometimes it does. Sometimes we have to see the pattern. Did anyone join my true choice of happily married?
Yeah.
What'd you notice for you?
You said so many good things. I was thinking of setting goal versus setting the intentions. The setting goal is like it can be something far distant, but setting an intentions is in the now.
Hmm. And how I can connect those two by letting go of what is keeping me from having it. Letting go
Yeah.
of the resistance, the old stories, the old patterns, the things, the thoughts, the feelings that are keeping me from having what I want. Yes, we want to let that go.
Yeah. Letting go of what is not serving us.
Yeah.
Yeah, letting go of the conditioning.
That's right. The words, I mean, even as we just think of the word married, right? It has meaning in the background, either positive or negative for us. It's like, oh, maybe we'd have to use a different word. Fulfilling relationship, right? Oh, like we just try words that ring, right? That vibrate, that have vibrancy to them. That's the joy of true choices, of discovering them.
Yeah, what this is really about is bringing consciousness into your conditioning.
Mm, that's right. Into the conditioning and into what we want, our manifestations. Because we are just manifesting our conditions. So we recreate, we are just creating our conditions
Yeah,
because that is what our focus is on. That is what that's our emotions. So our feelings tied to those conditions is what we create and therefore experience.
yeah, intentionally conditioning to our conscious choices.
And I think I don't know, but it's like our best place to be is just to roll with whatever shows up in the moment of now. With an eye, with a path, with a direction, lightly in like what I'm experiencing now is connected to the destination. Like it's enjoying the experience along the path. And I believe we're all sent here. We all came here to do something.
We all had to grow up.
Yeah. We're all to be intimate and give love. It's like to experience one another. That's intimacy. And so much we call intimacy just in our personal relationships, right? Our families. But intimacy has so many degrees to it. The intimacy is to belong, to be accepted, to be loved, to be allowed. It's like intimacy is compassion. And compassion with our neighbor, compassion to our strangers. So intimacy with strangers. Now, what you can see is the conditioning of that statement. Is they don't go together, right? It's an odd mix for me, just because I hadn't thought of intimacy with strangers. Ew.
Maybe that's because we avoid intimacy with ourselves. Good awareness. That's a good true choice. It's like there's something in it. Think about like what would it feel like to be intimate with ourselves? How would you know? I'm taken back to a memory from if you so intimacy with yourself.
I remember in grade school where you could wrap your arms around yourself and we would pretend that you were making out with someone, right? From the back, it would um, look like you were getting hugged, right? Look like you were being intimate. You're really just hugging yourself. Morning, Allison.
Morning, Allison.
Good morning, listen.
Well, Craig, how would we know? How would you know you're intimate with yourself?
My heart feels warm and cozy.
Yeah, there's a lifting of it. Yeah, it's like a lightness to it, to a expansive, like potential. And attractive and anticipation and expansive.
It's like my heart grows wings, starts
Mm.
flying.
Mm. Where does it fly to? In our make-believe world, right? It's like our heart's flying. It's like, oh, where's it going? Does it feel like it's going away? Never to be found again?
No,
Yeah. So it's going somewhere else. It's not going there.
integrated.
Yeah. It's flying to the next moment, right? To the next opportunity, the next potential, growing, expanding, connecting, bridging.
Yeah, the next presence.
Yeah, good. Which is the future.
Well, sort of.
Well, from the now it is. Because it could be going to the past too, right? It could be.
Yeah.
That's the other part of our structure. Like if our structure for in the present, right, we can aim our intentions to the past, which I don't think is as effective as to the new, because the past is when we look backwards, we're looking at what has been.
Yeah. For me, it's more like the present. The present is okay.
Mhm.
It's an okay place to be.
Mhm. Sure is. It's the only thing we've got.
Instead of either, you know what I mean? Instead of either past or future,
Mhm.
present
Yeah,
is
it
okay.
is. Again, the present is the only thing we have. It is the truth of the moment. That's the key. Like that's the structure to it. It is the truth of the moment. It's the truth of it. It's where all the resistance lies when we put it in comparison to what we want. That resistance that we feel shows up in the moment of now. And then our intention shows up in a future moment of now. That's the power of listening to the silence as we listen to the tension, the charges, the emotions, the feelings, the senses, the smells, the visions, the pictures, the whatever we get. Because if there's no, otherwise we just get the same thinking over and over again because the ego can't let go of it.
Yeah, my ego wants to avoid the present at all costs.
Mhm. And that's just conditioning. Because it was probably extremely painful for you. That's just a past condition. But it doesn't mean that it's not real. It doesn't do anything invalidation. Morning, Pascal.
Good morning. How's everyone doing?
Silent creation structure. Right now, we're discussing intimacy with yourself in the present moment in relation to what we want.
Hmm.
So the structure, right? The structure of what we want, how would that feel? And what is it like now? Also known as the wisdom process. And Craig was just sharing with us how his conditioning has been to avoid the present.
think we all do that
Extremely.
at a
Yeah.
certain level.
Yes, we do. That's why the silence is so uncomfortable when we first begin.
And so fantastic when you master.
Yeah. I ain't got it mastered. I know that.
What's that?
I said I ain't got it mastered.
No, no, no. But even when you get better at it,
Yes. Makes all the difference in the
there's a-
world.
it's like a scale almost, right? Like
Mhm.
when you start tipping the other way, and when the fun begins.
Yes.
You get the momentum.
My old self would say, "Oh, it could never work that way." Even though I've never tried it, I would for sure tell you that it wouldn't work. Now, if
Control
that's
my
not
character.
insanity,
Whatever.
so good to hear your voice, Allison.
And yours, Jesse, and everybody else. I love the topic this morning. So valuable.
So I'd love to just put Allison in the middle of our group and just surround her. And just put her in that circle of intimacy, of compassion, of healing, of health and vitality. And just send our love, our healing love, just for a few minutes of just focusing our healing love. So that means she may just receive what she needs.
Yeah, healing with love. We're taught like you're supposed to love everything outside of yourself and then you can love yourself. stuff, the material stuff. So backward. Like it's like the more you love yourself, the more people will love you.
Yeah, and my upbringing, loving yourself, was discouraged.
So find your love. Love for yourself. And when you connect it, serve it, deliver it. Know that there's abundance and plenty of it.
You know, I got a little practice with Kai when, you know, he's crying or, you know, like he's a little fussy or whatever. Instead of saying, like, what is wrong with you? I'm like, what is right with you? What is right with you? You know, and I keep saying it over and over. My wife is, and he's like, huh? As he starts to understand, like, more and more. Yeah, just slipping your trip, right?
And may all that love that we've given be received as it is part of the group and in the group and expanded out of the group. So may it go through you just as much. Take what you need. It is abundant. Where two or three are gathered, miracles happen. We call it life. What words are we carrying with us today? What feelings will we be looking for? What choices will we be creating? What realities will we be finding?
I woke up with grace.
What is grace?
As, as far as I know, it's presence of the divine.
As I do, I hear it from the church standpoint a lot, like or send or give with grace or forgive with grace. What are some other ones like grace? I connect with mercy. Not the same by any means. There are two different meanings to it. The divine is grace and merciful, yeah.
Mm.
And then merciful is mercy. It has to do with power, and I think it's connected to the judgment side of it.
Mm.
But grace isn't. Grace is all accepting, allowing, forgiving, letting go. That's grace is letting go.
We could say that mercy also lets go, Hedges. Mercy meets judgment, and um it untangles, maybe you could say, judgment.
Punishment.
Mm.
Yeah, that's a big connection for me is mercy and punishment. Yeah.
Mercy opens it up.
Hmm. Grace. Thank you. There's got to be that in relationships. There's got to be grace for ourselves. What is self-grace? What would it be
Mm.
like to give yourself grace?
Word allowing comes up with it.
Mhm.
And I always think of grace as encouraging momentum. Because it's life giving.
Yes, it is an expansive word. An expansive structure. It is an expansive structure because it has the characteristics, the fundamentals of what we want that is expanding with a feeling, with a sense, with a emotion attached to it that is just as good, meaning we put a focus on it, good things happen.
Mm.
And then even good, like that's misleading statement.
Things that expand.
Aren't always good in the beginning.
That, that could be true, yes, for sure.
It's that expectation that is, oh, it always has to be good. It always has to be the conditioning that we put on it. I always have to be right is no room for grace.
Correct.
And thank you for grace, Allison.
Hmm.
Yeah, it's definitely a big one. My word today would be patience.
And how would you know?
When I'm patient,
Yeah. What might it look like today? When might you need
when
it
there's no
most?
reaction.
Hmm. Yeah, when there's so patience, when there's no reaction.
Hmm.
I connect that to a charged reaction, like a negatively charged or a intense reaction. I can choose patience in a situation or whether it's just to notice it, to catch it as early as I can. I can see grace and patience working together. Hand in hand.
And that makes room for intimacy.
Thank you.
It makes room for connection.
Thank you. Grace and patience for happily married, for connected relationships in the present moment. Grace and patience. Patiently graceful. Grace, patience. Yields intimacy.
My word for today is peacefulness.
Hmm.
Mm.
And I think
Grace. Sorry, G.
I think it comes when you're one with yourself,
Hmm.
one with your heart, your purpose, your intention.
Yes.
Oh,
What will be your word for today, Jesse or Craig, and I don't know who else is in the call. Heinz, maybe?
Craig was talking earlier, Pascal, about his ability to be intimate with his heart.
Allow it to express in silence.
Mm.
I'm going to go with connected intimacy.
Mm.
Yeah, I've had to learn again that it was okay to do that, to be intimate with my own heart.
Fantastic.
Flow of energy.
So for me, I'm gonna steal from from Craig. Our conversation is connected intimacy. That's what my choosing today is connected intimacy.
Mm.
Version of grace, peacefulness, love, sincerity, quality, conversation, transparency, engage. Those are what I'm choosing today for the family and for happily married.
I was going to say, feel free to take that and expand its meaning. That's exactly what you did.
It makes me think of that little refrain again, those 3 sentences about, let me just think quickly, clarity of mind, purity of heart, sincerity of action. I was just thinking sometimes it's really challenging to have that clarity, and you can come in with sincerity and purity. It gives you the start. And when you move with those two, you'll find the clarity that you need. I was thinking of that phrase from Mark Nepo's poem, where joy flows like blood.
Did you guys hear me yesterday when I was talking about lucid dream and astral travel?
You, I'm not sure how to answer your question, Pascal. I've heard you talk about it before, yes, in group.
But yesterday,
Oh, no.
it was at the end of the call, but I think like we end the call and then I start talking about it. And then I realized after 5 minutes I was just talking to myself. I was like, okay, all right.
That's being truly present, Pascal.
Yeah, I was fully present with myself.
Yeah.
No kidding. So so a while back, it's probably like, I don't know, it's been probably like 2 years, maybe 3 years. I took a course about astral traveling. And I was curious to kind of listen to the course again, see how much it changed in me. And because I changed, I believe. So to see if I understand things differently. But one talk, I really just listened to one. He was talking about how do you exit your body, and he's a really uh, big teacher in like lucid dreams, more than astral traveling. So he was saying that like the big difference is like, well, one is like lucid dreaming is all happening in your mind. So he says like if you want to work on yourself, then lucid dream is a lot more relevant than astral traveling. And then you exit, well, no, you don't exit, but like you get to a lucid dream from the throat chakra because it's the closest to the brain.
Mm.
I never heard that before. And even like when I took the course, I was, it didn't really trigger me or nothing. Like, I wasn't questioning it or anything like that. And then astral traveling, you exit your body from the heart chakra, or the third eye.
Mm.
And yeah, I just thought it was quite fascinating, the difference. And what they're used for. And he says like astral travel, I mean like, you know, he says like I probably had like 20 experience of astral traveling, but like 600 lucid dreams. So it's a lot easier. And the way he says the easiest way, it's like you go in a lucid dream and then you exit your body.
Mm. Mm.
Because he says like, I believe what he says like meditation, if you say you're in a lucid dream and you meditate, it's like something like 700% like quicker, faster. You're right there. You know,
Mm.
it's almost like when you take psychedelic,
Mm.
which I have to have
Mm.
a really good experience with it. But yeah, it's just like, so it kind of reminds me of like, I'm gonna start practicing this again. So I was just curious, like, you guys had any experience with lucid dream or astral travel?
Okay, so I'll share. I have a lot of lucid dreams. I'm not sure that well, let me put it this way. I'm not aware of astral traveling. But I had dreams as a little girl that could have been that. And what I wanted to add in terms of what you were saying, Pascal, was what's interesting for me about lucid dreaming being connected through the throat chakra is that physiologically the throat chakra is connected to the Dian-10, in other words, the base of the vital force in our body. And I know everything in our body is connected, but there's a very specific connection between those 2 points in our body. And between the throat chakra and the pineal gland. The connection between the throat chakra and the pineal gland, I don't quite understand what that pathway is, to put it that way, but it's quite well known with body workers that the pelvic area and the throat chakra are very closely linked, which is often why, or let me put it to you this way, it's our voice, the sounding of our voice is connected to our life force. It's a demonstration of it.
One way to create.
Yeah. Yeah.
Yeah, and harness with the will of the dancing.
Yeah.
That's how we put that into it.
Yeah. And then the other thing that I got to know about in terms of where we leave and enter our bodies is a point that I had never heard of before, and I didn't hear it within yoga teachings, but they were very powerful teachings. So I paid attention to it. So it's at the base of where the skull meets the spine. So you've got your 2 still points at the back of your skull.
Yeah.
So in the middle and a little bit up, there's like an indentation there. And apparently that's also a portal. And now the other experience I want to share is this. So when I met my husband, he told me about his teacher, which became mine. And within 2 weeks, because I didn't have a specific, well, I didn't have an enlightened yoga teacher at that point. That's how I would put it. I'd met other teachers, but I'd actually never met a fully enlightened yogi. So within 2 weeks of meeting my husband, I started to dream about his teacher. And within 3 months of my husband and I dating, he arranged for me to have a phone call with his teacher. And they called him Gurji. So I get on the phone with him and I say, hello, Gurji, my name is Alison. And he says, hello, hello, hello. And I said to him, you've been in my dreams. And he immediately says, yes, yes, very good. Keep on paying attention. So what it brings to mind for me, again, when you talk about astral travel and with me saying, I don't know if I have, but I have these, these very strong dreams that I had as quite a young child, that I remember. And so what it comes back to me again is we probably all astral travel, but it's whether we are aware of it or not.
Exactly. That's what I heard too. Like we all astral travel every night.
Yeah, so it
I
comes.
mean, like the body,
Yeah.
the body's asleep, but the soul
Yes.
is never
Yeah.
stopping. Never.
Yeah.
It's not like, oh, it's 10 o'clock. I'm gonna take a rest too. I'm gonna train the body. That's boring. It's almost like the body that's asleep is the parents, and the kids is the
Yes.
astral travel vehicle.
Yes.
And the parents are sleeping. Time to parties. Time to explore. Yeah, thanks for saying. It's fantastic.
You're welcome. So I'll just tie something together quickly before we end today. So last night I'm going through my beloved books because I have to part with a whole bunch. I've got way too many. And there's one book that was written in the 60s, and the title is so apt. And it goes like this: Necessary Losses. And it was a book that I really valued a lot as a young woman in my 20s when I was doing counseling, not having studied fully in my, in my degrees yet. And there were two things that came for me with it. The one was how accurately she was writing about our experiences and in being a human being. And I was looking at the section on marriage, and the section on marriage she calls love and hate. And when I read that, I just cringed. I thought, oh God. And then, of course, that's what happens. We have the most love and the most intense disapproval, dislike, and eventually hate. That's possible in that relationship because that relationship is so open. We are so vulnerable in that relationship. So I was, noticing my observation and laughing at myself with it all and remembering all sorts of experiences. And then I thought to myself, why do I still feel so constricted with this wonderful book? I mean, it really is so exquisitely written in terms of everything that she covers about life, about our our development as a child. The section that she's got on our unity and then our separateness, and then the yearning again for unity when we are adults, and that's our marriage. And so the bonding experience is so exquisite. It's beautifully written. And I just kept on thinking, what is it? Like, what is it about this book that I don't need anymore? And then I realized the obvious. And it was, even in my master's training, when I was doing it, I veered off into transpersonal work. I didn't stay with the pure psychology. And I'm just so grateful and so appreciative that I am aware and that I can have the experiences that I do have in terms of the energetic force that holds my body. And that all the other fields of knowledge are important and they give color and they're valuable, but they're incomplete without that or without this.
Is life ever completed? It's a journey the whole way.
I never stop.
Yeah.
I'll just share really quick, like two exercises if you guys are interested in astral travel that he mentioned. One is called the circle of protector. So if you're scared of doing it, then what you do, like when you're laying down, you imagine like it can be things, it can be people, gurus, crystal, whatever you want. But imagine like that you have one at the top of your head, the bottom of your feet, on the right of your hand, and left on your hand. So, and then like you connect them. It can be with like barbed wire if you want, or so they're all connected and like you're in the middle of everything. So you're protected when you're doing it. And the second exercise is called Guru in the Heart. So just to get to that vibrational state, or hypnagogic, or I can't pronounce it anyway. State. So what you do, you imagine your guru, or it can be a crystal again, it can be anything that's really significant for you, and then you just put your attention to your heart, and then you either see like that guru, or you do the feeling or anything like that, and then yeah, that's two little practice you mentioned. So I felt empowered to share them. So enjoy.
Thank you, Pascal.
Hey, awesome. And on that note, I gotta go.
Thanks, Pascal.
My wife is going to work early, so
Have
Have a
fun
good
with
day.
Kai.
yeah, I will. Oh, every day is so good. Like I'll post just a small video of his first words.
Oh,
He's good. Yeah, yeah. I'll just post it to the Heart Center. All right, guys. Have a
Yep.
wonderful day. Love you all.
Thanks, Pascal. Thank you.
Have a blessed day, all. Love and hugs.
Have a night.
All right. Thanks, guys. What a great morning. Have a great rest of the day.
you too, Jesse.
You
Thank
too.
you so much.
Thank you.
Bye.
Okay. Bye. All.